morning and welcome to week 6 vlog. I can't believe we're in the 6th week of 2026 already. How crazy is that? Today is actually Thursday. I skipped filming yesterday. I just want to get a whole bunch of housework done and not have the distraction of having to film it. I also started the 24-inch swatch that I am required to do. And that's the last of that weight 3 yarn. Then I have another yarn to start that's about a weight 4-ish. But in the meantime, they asked me to pick up other swatches that are high priority rather than the ones that I'm supposed to start after the ones I have started. So I'm going to pick those up tomorrow morning when I go into town for an errand or two. I had a really hard time editing week 5's vlog just because, you know, I film on 2 different phones. So I have my regular iPhone that I use every day. It has a pink case on it that I'm talking to right now. And then my old iPhone that was from like I've been using this one now for over a full year. And the other one was the one that didn't have any like speaker like working on it or microphone or anything working on it. So I use that for B-roll footage. So it gets a little confusing because I'll film like B-roll footage, as I said, on that other phone and then this phone. So therefore there's 2 different numbers. Like, you know, when you upload something or if you look in your information, it gives you a number of like image 0479. And then the other one is at like image 0146. So it gets confusing. So I'm like, okay, what came first in the day or the week or whenever I filmed this? And on the video editing software I use CapCut, there are filters that say like sort by name, sort A to Z, sort time created, sort date uploaded, and different things like that, but it doesn't always work, so therefore it gets confusing. So I have set myself up for success for this week, week 6. So in my Google Drive I have a folder already that says week 6. And then in that folder, I have subfolders for each day. So I put down Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So hopefully that will help me. And I know it doesn't really help either that a lot of the times I wear like an outfit for 2 days in a row and I had no problem doing that. I'm not going to stop doing that. So that also is a contributing factor because I'm like, okay, I know I wore that outfit on Tuesday, Wednesday, but did I also wear it Thursday morning before I had a shower? You know, so it's stuff like that that is getting a little bit confusing. So hoping that these subfolders really help. As I said, I did a whole bunch of housework yesterday and I worked on the 24-inch swatch, which is going to take multiple days because of how thin the yarn is. I haven't measured how far I am on the 24-inch swatch. I would say I'm probably like 10 inches in at this point and started taking up 2 skeins of the small, tiny yarn. I have enough yarn to complete it, but it's just going to take a while. My goal is to have it done on Saturday or by Saturday, so probably on Saturday is going to be when it's going to get finished. As I said, I did a whole bunch of housework yesterday, so I didn't have a whole lot of knitting crochet time. I spent most of my free time on that knitted swatch. And then I also was able to complete one little bunny. I wanted to get up to 10, so this is number 10. And I think he is adorable. I'm not going to show you the other 2 because I've already showed you the yarn for those last week's vlog. And I would like to do a bunny pattern roundup. I have a whole bunch saved on Instagram that I want to complete and, you know, just do like a roundup video talking about my thoughts on them. I'm going to work on some bunnies this coming week from those Instagram patterns, and then eventually I'll do a roundup video. Not in a huge rush for that, but you know, sooner than later. Hopefully sometime in February that video will come out as a bonus video. Supposed to have a video chat this morning with my friend Alexandria whenever she is free. We were gonna have a chat at 10 a.m. but her husband forgot his work bag at home, so she had to take that to him. And then, you know, then her son can't nap, and I'm totally understanding. I get it. I don't have kids of my own, but we have nieces and nephews and, you know, friends that all have kids. So I know her day can change on a dime, and usually it's the kids that cause that, but today it was her husband. That part I can understand and relate to. In the meantime, I've started this blanket. I was up early this morning to put some work into the knitted swatch I was talking about. Worked on it last night as well before bed. Had some breakfast this morning. Did a few lottery scratch cards. I won on one of them, so yay. I think I'm out $5 right now, but it's just something fun to do. I took Larry out for a pee and poop earlier because this week he's been used to that schedule because I've been volunteering most of the week. I am off for the rest of the week. I only had to do 2 days this week. Next week is 3 days. It's usually rotating like that. So I kept him on that schedule today. So I took him out at 8:30 for a pee and a poop, and then he went right back to bed willingly. And I'll get him up around 11:30 today. He will then have his breakfast, which is like a frozen treat tray bowl thing that I create. And then at 12:30, I'm going to pick up his best friend so they can have a play date today. Larry's been missing him, and you know, just every time I say like a name, not even Levi's name, if I say, like the other night I said the name Emily, or I was talking about a beaver pattern, and he was like, my friend? I'm like, you don't know an Emily, and you don't know anybody named Beaver, unless you met these people at daycare and I don't know them. It's just so funny because I think he's just been looking for someone or something to play with or company, even though we've been going out a ton. I think he just needs a bit of stimulation today, so I'm happy to do that for him. And it's fun for me as well. So in the meantime, until my friend Alexandria calls, and during our call, I will be working on this. And that's it, that's all. I don't think I'm gonna time lapse because I don't wanna miss her call. And my other phone is in the other room, so I'm just gonna turn this off and hopefully wait for her call. Here's how far I got earlier on my blanket. I ended up speaking with my friend Alexandria, so that was nice. And then while we were on FaceTime, I made myself some lunch, and then her son woke up, so she had to go, but that's okay. I think it looks really cute. I'm just, as I said, I chopped up all the yarns earlier. And then I've just been adding them piece by piece rather than fusing them all together into a ball and then making the blanket. Then I can kind of control it a little bit more to see, like, you know, what side needs more of what color, etc., etc. So I think that's working out quite nicely. So I'll keep working on that at some point. This afternoon, Larry had his play date. I was working on this cutie pie. This will be part of my bunny pattern roundup coming up soon.
Levi is a sleepy puppy, but never gives in. Always comical to watch.
Hooey! I sure am tired after wrestling with my friend. Had my snooze. Now let's get back to playing ball. Okay, I admit it. I'm now tired out. Mind if I hop on the couch? Nothing like flopping down after a long day of wrestling.
Well, my friends, it's now the end of Thursday. I really didn't do a whole lot of filming today. It was just a busy day. Worked on my blanket, talked to my friend Alexandria, made lunch while I was talking to her, got Larry back up out of bed after I had taken him out earlier in the morning. He ate his lunch / breakfast, his brunch, I guess. And then when I picked up his best friend, they played for 2 hours. I made a bunny while they were playing. Yeah, what did I do after that? So took Levi, the black lab, back home to my best friend's house. Chatted for her for about half an hour. Came back home. Larry wanted to go in for a nap because, you know, he was exhausted from playing with his friend for 2 hours. Came up here. I swept, vacuumed, mopped the floors, did a little bit of knitting on my swatch. Went back downstairs, got Larry back out, then he had his supper. Oh, I did the floors down there as well, so that took a while. Haven't pulled out my new steam mop yet. Tomorrow I have to go into town in the morning to run some errands and get some groceries. And after that, I think we have a free day, which will be nice. Larry will probably still be a little bit tired from his play date today. Fingers crossed anyway. Hopefully he's not grumpy. Sometimes he gets grumpy after his play dates because he's, you know, just tired and cranky boy. Came up on my Facebook memories that Larry got his nutectomy 2 years ago. So he got neutered 2 years ago today. It just came up on my Facebook. And I was like, oh yeah, it was in February. That was not a fun time with him because, you know, he wanted to run around and be crazy because he was a puppy at the time. He had all the energy. But basically he had to be in his crate for an entire week because there's no way to control that little turd. There still is no way. Hello and happy Thursday. Or no, it's not Thursday, it's Friday. In my brain this morning I thought it was Monday. I don't know. This week is just weird for me. It's Friday. Yesterday I finished up this bunny and this bunny. You'll see them in my pattern bunny roundup video at some point. I'm not going to give any details right now. They're both nice patterns. Yesterday I worked on those and mainly on my knitted swatch. I'm on the 24-inch one now of the really thin yarn, so it's taking forever, but I think I have about 3 more inches to go on it, so I should be able to finish it this afternoon.
Time for lunch, making myself a charcuterie plate. I picked up sourdough for my friend this morning. Finished my knitted swatch. Finally, decided to work on a new bunny pattern. Larry went in for his afternoon nap, so I put some time in to finish this beautiful piece.
Something you don't know about me is that I hate baking. Hate it with a passion. Because you put one little extra grain of flour in whatever, it's totally ruined by one little grain of flour. And I hate baking for that reason. I can cook you anything you want, but I hate baking. But the one thing that I will make is banana bread / banana muffins. So I have a banana bread muffin recipe that I use all the time, and then I always say about the bananas that go bad because, you know, I just don't eat them in time. That's what we're making right now. I like to get the gross part out of the way first. And the gross part is this. Dump in the carcass of the rotten banana. My recipe calls for 3 bananas, but I never do just 3. I do a lot more than 3 usually. When we first moved in here, there was a nice elderly couple living behind us. Their name were Fred and Margaret, but she went by Marge. And I would double up every recipe I ever made so I could feed them as well. Because, you know, they didn't eat a whole lot and they didn't need to eat a whole lot. So, you know, just doubling up the recipe so we could have leftovers for Steve's lunch or my lunch at the time. And then I take them over to the neighbors because, you know, they eat soup most of the time and, you know, I feel like that's pretty common. And we eat a lot of soup here too, especially in the winter. But I didn't mind doing it. You know, I got to spend time with them. They were just so cute. They've since moved out of that house. Well, Marge had passed away, but Fred is now in a retirement center that's in the town close to us. So, don't have them to feed anymore. Now I have my neighbor that lost his wife last summer. I don't have to feed him, obviously, but I haven't had him over in a while for a meal because him and his grandson have been doing something over at the house, and the grandson's over there quite a bit, so I'm assuming that they're eating together. But I don't want to step on any toes. Alright, so all the gross ones are done. Gross. But it always tastes good in the end, so this part's just the gross part. Alright, so now we need flour, baking soda, salt, margarine, brown sugar, and egg. As I mentioned, I doubled up everything. So I'm using 2 cups of flour, we're gonna use 4. My sister loves baking. She finds it stress relieving. I don't understand that because I find it stress inducing. Here's proof of how much I hate it. Flour, of course, has a really long expiry date, but this expired, or best before 2024. So you can tell I don't use this very often. This really is the only thing that I bake. So there's our flour. Instead of using 1 teaspoon of baking soda, we're gonna use 2. And instead of using a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, we're gonna use 1/2 teaspoon. And if you're thinking to yourself or saying to yourself out loud right now, well, no wonder your baking doesn't turn out, Melissa, you don't use the proper measuring tools. You are correct, because I don't have the patience for that. And I had those little measuring spoons for a long time, but I donated them or they broke or whatever, because I didn't use them enough and they weren't accurate anyway, so who cares? We now need 1.5 cups of brown sugar. Here's my little brown sugar bear. Keep the brown sugar soft. It does work. I invited us over to my in-laws tomorrow night. I said, we'll bring a meal. We haven't seen them in a while, so I might take some of these over when we, head over there tomorrow night. depending on how many turn out or how many I get from this recipe. Honestly, it varies, just depends on how much I fill each muffin tray thingy. Instead of using 2 eggs, we're gonna use, that's right, 4. Here's something weird I never thought I'd say. I have to save the eggshells because Larry's friend that you've seen in the video from yesterday, he has food cooked for him at home because he has so many weird allergies. My best friend, his human mom, had said, hey, please save your eggshells because that's part of the meal for him, but just like rinse them with water first. I was like, okay. It's just so random. And I knew that dogs could eat eggshells, but none of my dogs ever have. These are pretty small eggs, so I think honestly I'm gonna add 5 instead of 4. You can never ask Steve to make anything with eggs because he always gets so many shells in them, and I'm like, dude, pay attention. Okay, so that's 4 right now. I do have a deeper bowl, but right now it's holding all of the pots and pans, lids, and I really don't want to pull it out. It's in the back of the pantry. Ain't nobody got time for that. I forgot about the big bowl. So this is not the one holding the pots and pans lids. This is just another bowl I have. Next up, we're going to add in the recipe calls for butter, but I can't have butter. I'm going to use my favorite spatula. It has sprinkles on it, and it's so pretty. I find margarine the hardest to measure because, you know, you squish it down to get it to like 1 cup, but is it really 1 cup? Then it becomes the point of just dump it in, pray for the best. And honestly, the most expensive ingredient here is the margarine. Because I live in Canada, our grocery stores, corporations, they all have a monopoly on us, and Canada had the largest amount of inflation in 2025, and I think it's like 6.4% or something like that. So we only have 2 or 3 big corporations that have grocery stores here in Canada, which is very unfortunate because they decide the grocery prices. Of course, I don't know what the prices are in your area, but this tub of margarine, 850 grams, costs $7.99 now, so $8 for a tub of freaking margarine. 1 block of cheese is like $9 now. It's totally ridiculous. I can't imagine how people with kids feed their families. Like, it's just the 2 of us here and it's still a struggle. We're gonna add in the gross bananas now. Still feels a bit dry, so I am going to add in another egg. And yes, I know this will be a lot easier with a mixer, a beater, a hand mixer. But as I said, it's the only thing that I bake, and it's like 3 times a year. Okay, adding in that 1 extra egg really helped. That's how I get my workout in. My bicep and my triceps working. And keep those eggs out for now, so remember to rinse off those shells for this friend. If you're curious where Larry is right now, he is right behind me-ish. He's not allowed to be on the floor, he has to be on his mat. I don't understand how some people can like work in the kitchen with their dogs right under their feet. I could never. I trip too much. Preheat the oven to 350. I have 2 muffin pan thingies. Use cooking spray because I don't have those little muffin things here. I'll do that. There is one time I forgot to put cooking spray on, and I will never forget again. For the scooping part, I use my ladle. Something I do like to do is just put like a little tiny amount of brown sugar on the top. Just gives a little something extra. And when you bite into the muffin, you get like a little bit of a sweetness, which is just fun. My recipe card that I wrote out years ago says bake for 20 minutes. Sometimes it's 25, but this is a newer, well, it's a used but new to me oven, so I'll check it at 20 minutes. I'm someone who likes to clean up as soon as I'm done cooking, whatever. I'm like having to do it later.
Yum, yum. I sure do love a good wavy beef treat. I'm giving you puppy eyes. Is it working? Are you now trapped under my allure?
Here they are, fresh out of the oven. I would do the Vanna White thing, but I don't want to hurt my hands because they're still pretty hot. I was able to fit everything into 2 trays exactly, so that worked out nicely. It's now the end of Friday, and this is my 3rd time filming this little end of Friday outro, I guess, type of thing. Before I got interrupted by a phone call, I was saying that, it was a poo show at Steve's work today, and then he was going to be late, and then he was also supposed to have supper with a friend, so maybe he was going to go there after. I was like, I don't know where he is. Whatever, it's fine. And then the phone rings, and it's Steve, and he's like, oh, I'm stuck in the snow. Luckily, I'm like 5 minutes away from my parents, and they're going to come get me in the tractor. And I'm like, why didn't you stay where you were? Because they've already closed most of the roads, and like, it's clearly really bad out there. And he's like, yeah, I know. I would have been fine if I had more speed. I wouldn't have got stuck in this deep snow. I was like, or you could have been smart and like stayed somewhere. Men, drives me crazy. And I'm glad that he's a confident driver, but at the same time, I'm also not glad that he's a confident driver because, he thinks he can get through anything. Maybe he'll actually listen to his dad when his dad gives him a talking to tonight. Fingers crossed. Something else I was saying, before I got interrupted on that clip, is I don't know what to work on right now. I do have more swatches to do, as I said. I picked up a bunch more yarn today for swatches, like this morning. I think I mentioned that earlier. I don't know. Luckily, the 3 of them that they need ASAP, that they wanted me to pick up today, are easy swatches. So I did one of them while I was watching a movie earlier after I made the muffins. And while the muffins were cooking, I guess I worked on it too. And it's just Bernat Velvet. So I guess it's a new shade that they have to have tested or something. I hate crocheting with that yarn. I also hate knitting with it. I just don't like Bernat Velvet. I wish it was... No, I wish I liked it because, the end swatch. And if you make anything out of Bernat Velvet, it's so soft. It's a beautiful, beautiful texture. But I just hate working with it. I don't know what it is. Even if you use the recommended hook size, I still hate it. It just gives me the ickies. So luckily I only had to do one with that, and that was pretty quick, so it was only 10 inches. And then the other 2 that need to be done ASAP, which I will do tomorrow or Sunday, is just more Bernat Blanket extra thick yarn. So those I can do within 20 minutes, if that. I don't even know if it takes that long. And there's only 2 of those. So honestly, that is nice. And then I get back to work on the other swatches that I required to do. So on top of the one that I just finished earlier today, I finished that 24-inch swatch I was talking about. Finished that one. And then when I picked that stuff up, I had another yarn. So 2 sets of swatches there. And then the one they interrupted my weekend with, with those 3, which is totally fine. It's not going to take long, clearly. Today, there was 2 more yarns in the package that I have to do swatches out of. So in total, how many sets is that? So let's see. 1, 2 that I already had here, or from earlier this week. I guess you count the 3 I have to do this weekend as a set. So that's 3, and then 4 and 5. And 5 were in the box today. So 5 sets of swatches. I mean, the one I had to pick up today is only 1 of each, right? Rather than 7 in a set. So that's okay. That's not so bad. But, that just means money. I guess I'm a full-time knitter right now. Because that's how I'm making my money. It's been windy here all day. And, the snow, it hasn't really been snowing today. Maybe, a little bit. Maybe, 2 inches of snow. But just the wind is crazy. Larry kept pausing all of his activities today and being like, what's that noise? I'm like, it's the wind. It's really windy out there. And then taking him out for a potty. I stood by the garage door in the back of the carport, and I was still getting blasted with snow because of how strong the wind is coming. Hopefully tomorrow will be better. Hello and welcome to Saturday afternoon. I was up around 6 o'clock this morning I did some video editing, dyed my hair, and I finished the 2 swatches for Bernat Blanket Extra Thick. I'm trying to keep him up a little bit longer than usual because we're going over to my in-laws at 5, as I said. Gotta cook that meal today. Hope you enjoyed my muffin baking adventure. No worries if you skipped it. If I were watching a YouTube video about crochet, I would skip that too. That's totally fine, no hard feelings at all. I started on the 3rd set of swatches now. Started last night. I was a little bit concerned that the yarn that I'm working with right now is a little bit similar to Bernat Velvet because of the texture, but it's not. Thank goodness. It's actually really nice yarn. I can't show it to you, but I will say, if you enjoyed Sweet Snuggles Light or Chenille Home Slim, you're gonna like this yarn that Bernat is developing. It is really nice. Personally, I don't like those slim yarns. I like Sweet Snuggles or Chenille Home like regular. But the thin stuff I know is loved by a lot of people. But I know the thin stuff is loved by a lot of people, including my friend Lori. He's looking at me like that because he wants to go downstairs into his CRAT for NAPTIME. But as I said, I have to keep him up a little bit longer. So it was a nice, busy, productive morning. I still have to eat a little bit of lunch. We don't usually eat supper at 5 p.m., but that's what my in-laws like to eat, and it's the weekend, so it's fine. It's gonna be weird for a few days because there's no hockey on. Because all the NHL players, or sorry, not all the NHL players, but a lot of NHL players are in, overseas for the Olympics. So Team Canada does not play until Thursday, Friday, and then Sunday. I marked on my calendar this morning because I really wasn't sure. I'll probably watch women's hockey as well. I didn't watch all the Olympics, but I watch a good amount of it. Last year at work, we put it on in the conference room, and we all just worked in there, and it was really nice to watch it all together. I guess it wasn't last year, it was 2 years ago. Whenever it was. Because last year I wasn't there. Steve got home this morning around 8 a.m. from his parents' place. As I said, they had to rescue him last night when he was stuck in the snow. So they have a spare bed down there. It's like a playroom for the kids. So the poor guy had to sleep on a single size bed. It's like a twin size bed. Wasn't the most comfortable, but better than sleeping in his car. Don't really have any big plans today besides cooking the chicken enchiladas I'll be taking over later. So I will film that on a time lapse. That's really all the footage you're going to see today because I want to work on this swatch. This yarn is pretty nice. It's, what am I knitting with? I'm knitting with a 6mm. I like my interchangeable Knit Fix needles. So I'm knitting with a 6mm, and the yarn is, I would say, like a bulky 5. So it's going pretty quickly, which is nice. Unlike the last yarn I used. That was way too thin and annoying. This one's quite nice. I hope you enjoyed a little bit of Larry content I put in there when I was making the muffins. Or I guess, as the muffins were cooking. His little puppy dog eyes were so cute. So I'm glad that turned out on camera. Thankfully, the roads were only closed for last night. So they closed around 7 p.m. last night. And then they were open this morning, I think around 8. Just a lot of drifting because the wind gusts got up to like 80 kilometers an hour. I was worried that we would lose power, so that white box right there on my shelf is my backup battery for my CPAP machine. So I like to have it out in the winter, just in case. But luckily the hydro stayed on. Right now I'm just watching some YouTube. I'm watching The Girl Who Knots. I love her Australian accent. And it's funny, because the more Australian people I watch, the more I'm recognizing regional dialects. Because, of course, if you're in Tasmania, you sound different than somebody in Melbourne or Sydney or Newcastle, whichever. But I find it so interesting because they're in summer right now. So this chickie was saying that over there is 40 degrees. And I'm like, oh, I'm so jealous. I mean, I don't want 40 degrees. Absolutely not. That's too hot. But I also don't want it to be negative 25 like it is right now. I do have the windows cracked in here a little bit just to, get some fresh air in here. It's been a while, so felt it was needed today while I was up here for a little bit. Do you like my top? I recently thrifted it for $4, which was pretty good. And it's really nice. It's like a thin material. I think it's like a polyester blend. I like long sleeves in the winter because my arms get cold. But when we go over to my in-laws, because it's open concept, and if she has the oven on, it gets so hot in there because it's a smaller home. Like, it's there. They built it because they're empty nesters, right? So it's just a 1-bedroom upstairs, and then the spare room is downstairs with the rec room, and it just gets really hot in there when she has the oven on. But that's one of the main reasons I offered to cook, because I was like, we'll bring the food. And she asked if she could do a side dish, so I just told her some mixed veggies is fine. with the chicken enchiladas. They don't know what I'm bringing, but I'm excited for them to try it. They're not really adventurous eaters, but Steve said he thinks that they would eat that. Because they eat all the ingredients that are in there already. I open that curtain over there for Larry all the time, and then he sits on my other chair over there and looks out the window. It is really cute. But he's also pretty snoozy right now. So he wants to lay on the bed. Good morning and happy Sunday. I slept in this morning, so I think I'm coming down with a cold. My voice sounds different and like I feel more nasally. My throat was sore yesterday, but today it's fine. But I've been sneezing and then, blowing my nose and all that fun stuff. Steve had to go into work for a bit because, I don't know, there's a power outage there or something. So who knows how long he will be. But in the meantime, I'm going to make another bunny pattern, free one on Instagram for my bunny pattern roundup. That's the plan right now. We really don't have any plans today. There is like a family birthday party thing happening at his uncle's house, but his uncle's house is small, so I really don't want to go. And Steve's at work, so I'm not going by myself. And If it was in the summer, we could be outside. It'd be a lot easier, but oh well, it's okay. Took over that meal to my in-laws last night with chicken enchiladas. They never had enchiladas before because they're not really adventurous eaters. And they're like, oh my goodness, this is actually really good. So it worked out great. If I can find the recipe, I will link it below. I've had it for years, so I probably found it on All Recipes. I like that website. Yesterday I was actually able to get 3 swatches, as I hold up 4. I was able to get 3 swatches finished up of that new yarn that I'm working with for my former workplace. And it's a really nice yarn. I'm really enjoying it. Like, it's beautiful. So I'm excited because they gave me extra because it's not going to take like all the skeins they gave me just to work with the swatches. So I'm going to keep the extra. Might send like 1 back, just so I don't look too greedy. And then I think I'm going to try to double strand it with some worsted weight just to make like a little blanket or something. I think it would look really nice. And the texture is so beautiful. It's so soft. I wish I could show it to you, but I can't. So I'm going to get working on this bunny pattern.
Ma, you got my signal. Now, give me some scratchies.
Now, back to crocheting.
Larry's now in for his afternoon nap, and good timing because my Temu order just arrived. I don't even know what I bought. I don't know if it's anything crochet related. There should be a sweater in here, so I'm hoping it fits. If not, I'll give it to a friend, but I'm excited to see what I purchased because I don't remember. I know a lot of people don't like Temu, but I do, so too bad. First thing out of the package is very deceiving and misleading because the listing photo looks like this. And I'm pretty sure it said like an 8-pack, but I only received 1. And this is like thick, chunky yarn for the blankets. So I'll have to look into that. Temu is pretty good. If you say like something is misleading or whatever, they will refund you pretty quickly, or you can take a store credit type thing. So that's probably gonna be one of them. I ordered some, I really don't know what to call them, but they're called, they're sticky balls. So the outside of them is like coated. They're not squeaky or anything, but they're supposed to stick to a wall, like when you throw them. So I just thought they'd be fun. I don't know what I'm gonna do with them, but I thought they were funny. I think it's I was able to choose 1 free item or something because I spent over a certain amount. So I think this was my freebie. I got some motivational stickers because I thought, if I go back to farmer's market, I could hand these out. Also, my nieces and nephews really love them. I got other stickers. I don't remember what these are about. These are mental health stickers, so I thought they'd be good for the farmer's market as well. So that's 4 items so far. And the 5th item is my sweater. I'm hoping it fits. I ordered the largest size that they have because you know how sizing is. So this is a size 4X. So cute. It fits really nicely. Oh, I'm excited. Okay, I'm gonna move you back. It fits really nice, that's exciting. Okay, here's the turtles on the sleeve there. Hopefully you can see them. And then on the back. So excited that it fits because honestly you never know. And it was only, what did I pay? I think like $22 or something. I'll put the listing photo up here if you want to go find it for yourself. And I like that it has this pocket, so you know, I carry my knitting needles and my yarn in there and knit away. Oh, this is so exciting. And the length is pretty good too. I'm always concerned about the length. I do like my sweaters to be like to my fingertips, but it's okay. So length I usually go for 32 if I'm able to choose or make something for myself. Oh, there's turtles on this sleeve too. Oh, that's so fun. Hopefully the stickers of the turtles stay on the sweater. You know, it's always a concern. But I try to wash the sweaters like this inside out for that reason. Oh, adorable. I'm excited. Hello and happy Monday. It's already the evening. I had my annual doctor's appointment today, and it's about 45 minutes from where we live. You know, just puttered around basically in that town for a while. I actually dropped Larry off on the way at daycare. He spent the day there, and I picked him up on the way home. So of course, you know, my doctor's appointment wasn't 8 hours long. But you know, I went to the 2 thrift stores that are in Stratford, Ontario. Went to the Michaels. Oh, I got lunch, and then I went and visited my father. He lives in that town, so it was nice to see him for a few hours. Just sat and chatted and knit and all that fun stuff. He actually has been getting back into an old hobby he had for a long time, and that is wood turning pens. So he makes pens and keychains, and sometimes he does it out of acrylic, sometimes he does it out of woodworking. I'll have to show you guys those. They're really beautiful. I'm glad he's back into that hobby. So yesterday I did end up finishing this one. So cute. Oh, here's a bunny. This is Carrots the Bunny. Can't remember the designer name, but of course it'll be in my bunny pattern roundup series. Or video, I guess. It's so cute. It comes with a little carrot. And it's really well structured. I really like this pattern. Took me forever to make it, but we'll go over that in that video. Oh, I also did the holographic eyes of this guy. They're like color shifting. They're so pretty. So I finished that guy, and then I finished that black and aqua blanket that you would have seen in that time lapse. I'm not going to roll it out right now just because it's dark in here, and I'll show you tomorrow. So let me show you what I purchased today. I've been wanting this shirt from Walmart since forever because it's the rayon that I like, the rayon shirts that are nice and long. And our Walmart was sold out of the 3X. And so was the one in Stratford, Ontario. So I got the size 2X, which the length was a bit more, but since they're the long tunic ones, I have like the cutout at the side. So like that style, $5 on clearance. And I was excited because this is one I've been wanting all year. And that's all I bought at Walmart. At the thrift store, I was so excited to find this because I love Trivial Pursuit. So I have a whole bunch of different versions. And then my best friend and I were saying recently we need to get a Disney version so her daughter can participate because, you know, I have all the versions. I have the classic, I have the 80s, 90s, 2010s, which my best friend and I love, and the 2000s version. I have a Warner Brothers version, and now I have Disney. So that's exciting. Sure, we'll play that maybe on Valentine's Day. Today was the last day at Michael's for the 40% off one regular price item. So I had 2 for my computer and 2 for my cell phone. So I got 4 items. So the first thing I got was this Granny Square yarn. I like this color. I'm pretty sure this one's called Watermelon. And I'm not gonna make Granny Squares with it. You know, I hate this yarn. But I like the colors. And I want to make myself some more short row beanies because I really like that beanie that I have that I've made. And then I got Daisy, and this is Charisma. It's a really nice colorway. I really like this one. And then I got these. And I've never purchased this one before, but it reminds me of Premier Puzzle. It's Impressions acrylic. And this is the color Saltwater Taffy. And I think it's just so pretty. And it's funny because they're all spun differently, because I was like, oh, that's beautiful. Oh, that one's also beautiful. Oh, it's the same color. But because they're spun differently, they just look different on the skein. I got that color, and then I also got this color, blue raspberry. I couldn't leave without this one. It's beautiful. So there's purple, blue, and other colors in there. Maybe some greens, gray maybe. I wanted to make myself some more short row beanies. And when I say short row beanies, these are what I mean. These ones here. It's a tutorial from Bag O Day Crochet here on YouTube. And I really liked making this one. I love the way it turns out. So that's why I bought these for. And then over at the other thrift store, I didn't find any yarn. And I was like, that's weird. Usually they have like a whole like little end cap thing of yarn. But they're now starting to put them in the stupid bags. So whatever. So inside there was some sparkle yarn, which I wanted for my blanket. And I'm double stranding. And there were 2 others in there. So they might be wool, so I'll have to donate those. And then the other thing I bought at the thrift store, I seen it and I was like, hell yeah. Because hell yeah, it's a slug with a skull for the shell. I was like, that's awesome. This is gonna stay in my office or maybe put in the bedroom. I don't know, but I had to have this. So he's pretty cool. He's been broken before. You can see his antennae are like glued on again, but that's okay. I just thought he was freaking awesome for $3.79. That's everything I really have to show you. Didn't get much footage from today, clearly. I didn't film anything really. Okay, switching angles so we can open this bag. And I paid $3.49 for all these. We have Serenity Chunky Weight. This is the color Fudge. Yeah, it's 100% acrylic, so that's great. So I'll use that probably for a beanie or something, I don't know. Here we have Spindle Yarns, soft, chunky. Yeah, 20% wool, so this one I'll have to donate. I can't work with wool because I'm very allergic. And then this is mainly what I bought it for, so I can put these on my corner to corner Christmas blanket I'm working on. Slowly. It's on the back burner right now because I had to work on these swatches. So this is Zeller's Christmas Sparkle. Zeller's the box store I used to work at in high school and college. For $3.49, that's pretty good. Plus this one that I can use. Not in the Christmas blanket, but I can use this one. That's something else I did while I was in Stratford. I dropped off a donation to the charity that I support. All in all, it was a productive day. I'm going to continue working on the swatch. I had taken my yarn with me for, when I'm waiting for my doctor or when I was sitting at my dad's place and, we're just chatting and knitting and stuff like that. So tomorrow I will show you the pens that he makes. They're really beautiful. He asked me to sell some at my next market. So if I go back to the farmer's market or maybe I'll put them on my website. I don't know yet. But they are really beautiful. I still have the original one he had made for us, so like my sister and I, when he started making them. I think I was like 12 at the time. Yeah, so a long time ago. And I still have the original one because, to me it's nostalgic and I'll never use it, but I like to have it as a keepsake. It was funny, he started making them again and then he sent me a picture. He's like, remember these? And I said, yeah, I still have my original. And he was like, prove it. And then guess who can't find her pen? And I said to Steve, I was like, I have that, don't I? And he said, yeah, you showed it to me like 3 weeks ago. It's pink and sparkly. I was like, yeah, but now I can't find where I put it. But that's okay. I know what it looks like and I know what box it's in and I know it's in my house somewhere, but where did I put it? That's a question for another day. Hello again. It's now Tuesday afternoon. I had a busy morning, just housework, everything, knitting, just a lot of things. Shower, etc. So just went to town for an appointment. I'm back now and I figured I would show you guys the pens that my father has been making, and I probably will put these on my website. Unfortunately, I can only ship within Canada at this time, but if you're somewhere else, just enjoy them here or on my website. So he was telling me about all the different types of woods that he uses. I think this one is teak. He used to make these when I was a teenager, as I was telling you, but he started making them again. I think he was a little bit bored this winter. We lost my stepmom 6 years ago now, so right before the pandemic. This one's really pretty. The wood ones are not my favorite. I really like the acrylic ones he's been making, and I'll show you those. So he sent me with half wood, half acrylic. He just asked me to, see if I could sell any of them at the farmer's market. This one is Purple Heart Wood. It's really beautiful. I was telling him he started making crochet hooks, and he said, oh, my supplier has kits for those, like the interchangeable ones, right? And I was like, yes. And I had said, but when you start making them, you should be making some ergonomic handle ones, like really fat ones, because they're very hard to find. I think that'd be a good niche for him. This one is just an unfinished, I think it's ash. That's what he had said. Don't remember what this one is. It might be chestnut. This one made me laugh. And he said, I'm going to put it in there because maybe you'll sell it with your sense of humor. This one is crotch walnut. So you know how a walnut tree kind of like splits and has the crotch in the middle? This is from the crotch of the tree. I like how holy and unique it is. I had said, I like selling things that are like one of a kind, or at least purchasing things that are one of a kind. Don't send me with two or that are the same. And of course, no two can be the same. We've already seen one like this, but with green stationery. So this has red. This one's really beautiful. I think this one's very, I don't know, classic. It was like a dark honey brown. Can't remember what he said this wood was, but I like how he finished it off. And this one's like a red maple, I think is what he had said. Beautiful though. Let's move on to the acrylics, and they are just gorgeous. There's one that he had in the box, like at his house yesterday, and I loved it, and I really, really wanted it. But I wasn't gonna ask him just to give it to me because, you know, this is money for him, right? And he had said, if you sell some in the farmer's market, I'll cut you in 25%. So if we sell an acrylic pen for $50, I would get $12.50. So we'll see. Here we have like a white marble one, and oh, it's gorgeous. I love these so much because they all turn out completely unique. Next one's like a red marble. I just love how shiny they are. I told him this one reminds me of Batman because it's black with some blue. The one that I really liked at his house, I didn't want to take with me, like in this little case container thing, and then be tempted to keep it and then be like, oh, I sold it, but I didn't, it's mine. So I left it at his house, but it was similar to this one. It was just like more marbled. So it was purple and just beautiful. And I mentioned it to him a few times. I was like, I love this one. I'm hoping that he would offer me to have it, but it didn't happen, but that's okay. Here's another red one. The other red one had silver, like stationery on it, so this one has gold. These two right here, I said to him, I said, this reminds me of coffee. He said, yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's coffee beans inlaid in some acrylic. I was like, that's cool. He said, smell it. I said, oh, it smells like coffee. I hate that smell. But it's a pen that's made out of like coffee beans, which is so cool. Also kind of looks like cheetah print. I said, this one also reminds me of coffee. So beautiful. I told him to definitely send this one with me because I think this one I could sell because of how unique and like gorgeous it is. I think he could sell this too, either gender, any age. And I told him I'd put a little sign with it. Might put his picture on it and put like, you know, like Papa Pete's Pens or Pete's Pens. By the way, my dad's name is Pete. And then the last one we have is red with marble. So I'm probably gonna put these on my website at some point this week. See if I can sell any online. Probably do Facebook Marketplace as well. My dad has Facebook, but he's not really well versed in like selling things on the interwebs. It's nice because he sent them in this nice little carrying case, so I could just display this on my table if I wanted to. And like, you know, pop the pens out a little bit so people could see the colors in each of them. And it's nice, this case comes with like nice little tie, so I can tie it together and transport it nicely. Just like that. To beef up this video a little bit, I thought it'd be fun to go through my inventory of plushies, because honestly I have zero idea what I have right now. I'm making some here and there, but then I had some left over from the fall, of course. It's still not warm enough to go to the farmer's market. This coming weekend will be Valentine's Day, so we're still in February. I have to stop being impatient, but I just want to get there and sell some things. And with going through my inventory, it'd be nice to organize some things, because I have these bags that my pillows, the value pillows that I use for stuffing, come in. And that's usually where I keep items that are similar. So like all the possums are in one bag along with the palm turtles. $5 items all in one bag. That's not the case right now, and it's kind of driving me crazy. While going through these, there are some I'm hoping that I want to set aside to donate. I know I had said recently, I'm going to donate, and then I had said, well, I had to think of them as income, so I'm not going to donate right now. But I'm hoping that there are at least, you know, 10, 15, maybe 20 in here that I would like to donate. And you heard me say 1,000 times last year that I have such a hard time selling things that are one-off items. People seem to gravitate towards, you know, when I have 3 or more of one item. Maybe not even 3, like 6 of one item. And then those things sell. And then of course my $5 bin, I consider it kind of separate, so it doesn't count for that. But I have a bunch of bees that I made out of the yellow scraps that were in my scrap bin. That's something I was looking for one day to do. 11 bees in total, and I sell those for $5. I do take my keychain supplies along to the market every time. It's in my market bag, and I say, do you want a keychain on it? Some people do, some people don't, and if they're not sure, I send them with the supplies to make it a keychain. Next up, we have some of the Mom Stitchetti little mini frogs. So that's one out of the Temu yarn I had. So currently we have 5 mini frogs. I might find more in my bags. As I said, they're totally disorganized once again. Fidget worms, I have 7 of this size. These are the ones from the Dollar Tree, like the foam hair curlers from the Dollar Tree, and I think they're about 6 inches long. Then I had ordered a 10 pack from Temu, and they are about 10.5 inches long. There's quite a difference there. So I have 2 of those left, and they're also $5. I do put these quite a bit on my spinning wheel, so if they you know, spin my spinning wheel. A lot of the wedges, I think 3 out of 14 wedges say free fidget worm. So they're handy for that because they're really cheap to make and I can use up some yarn scraps. So I'm going to put all of my $5 items plus this guy into the $5, like this bag that I'm using as my $5 bag. And then when I'm setting up at a market, I just grab this bag and I dump it into my big basket. That's my $5 item basket. I found another mini frog in my plushie bag. Next up we have our fat ass frogs. This is the Timu yarn from the ones you've just seen. And I have some out of the demi pearl yarn in the color spagum. 4 of the dark, 3 of the lighter color Timu yarns. Another mini frog that was in the bag. I missed a fidget worm. Alright, so my scrappy turtles I made in the fall. Remember I did a crochet with me video about these. So I usually sell turtles for, yeah, 30. I couldn't think for a second. So 1, 2, and 3. One of them has sold. It was the blue, more blue looking one that had sold at a market. Next up we have Lollipop the unicorn. So freaking cute. I don't know if I'll be able to sell her just because I have such a hard time selling things over $30. So at this point, like, what do I want to sell her for? $1 million? Yes. Can I? No. But I would probably put a hefty price tag on her and take her to at least 5 markets just to see if she would sell too. You know, one person has to see her and fall in love with her. So I don't want to donate her just yet, but I could donate her at some point if I want to. Here we have a little elephant. I think this is by Cozy Friend Creations, part of my 31 New Patterns in 31 Days series from December. And him I could donate because he doesn't take long to make and it is a fun make, so I would make it again. Here's a large scrappy turtle. This is made out of Sweet Snuggles, all of it, or Chenille Home, whichever, or a Timu yarn. That's all the same size, and this one's $40 because it's larger in size. Here's a size comparison to the Bernat Blanket one. Bernat Blanket, Sweet Snuggles. And this plushie bag, and I might have more, but I have 2 jellyfish in this bag. This little cutie, I'm probably going to donate. This was part of my Basket Buddy series, but people would pick up the Basket Buddy and be like, oh, what is that thing? And I'm like, the pattern is called literally a buddy, right? So it's just like a little buddy with legs. But nobody was interested in her. I think she's adorable, and I think it's a fun pattern because it's unique and fun. I think I'm going to send her for a donation. When I was trying to use up all of my Sweet Snuggles Chenille Home, I made some Scrappy Bears. Also in the 31 New Patterns series was this cute little fox. I have 1 baby dragon. She's only been to, I think, 1 or 2 markets with me, so I'm not going to donate her just yet. Selling her for $25. Another mini frog. They're so small they get down to the bottom of the bag. 1 Goopy the alien. Such a fun pattern. He's so cute. 1 rubber ducky. I find these easy to freehand at markets, like when I'm sitting there, so sometimes I have rubber duckies, sometimes I don't. I have this adorable otter. A lot of people have picked him up, but he hasn't found a home yet, but he's only been to 2 markets, or maybe 1 market. And from the same yarn that I had got from my friend Alexandria on her yarn haul thing that she sold to me, is a bear. Next up, I have this adorable snuggler teddy that just keeps getting overlooked. Because I have them all in my big apple basket, like all my snugglers, and I like lay them in there like, you know, like they're sleeping little babies. You know, this guy just keeps getting overlooked. And then we have this little a-hole. And I say that because if you watch my video about, I think I put like the little clip that I'm talking about in the 31 New Patterns video, that I just could not get this pattern to work nicely for me because the white spot just kept shifting one way. And then somebody had commented on this video and I had no idea that this was a thing. And they had said, it looks like you're doing yarn under your hook and you need to do the other one, yarn over, because, or maybe it's the opposite. Look it up before you take my word. It said that, you know, that makes a big difference in like it not shifting one way. And I was like, oh, I did not know that. And then I looked up on YouTube and there is tutorials of like, hey, it's not going to do that if you do it this way. And I'm like, I had no idea. So I do plan on making another one of these when I have the patience and not the frustration about it, and try that new technique and I can get myself to do it with like yarn over yarn or whatever it is. So I could donate this guy, but I probably won't because I want to get $48 for him because how long he took me and the frustration he caused. So $40 would make up for that. Once again, I have another mini frog left over from my markets. I have 1 cat ear beanie and number 2 cat ear beanie. So 2 in total. I will take these to the farmer's market, especially when it's cold out. Might sell these really well. So that's everything that was in the first plushie bag. It's funny looking at all of these right now that I've already pulled out. I'm like, you know, I really haven't had a lot of these for a long time. I've made a lot of these recently, either in the 31 New Patterns series I did in December or right beforehand for market prep. And a lot of the things that I had for a while, I had put it in my $5 bin at my last market of the year So there was like some snakes in there. I put some possums in there just to, you know, get some inventory moved. So that really definitely helped. So I'm not going to put everything back in this plushie bag because I'm assuming in my other plushie bag, I have 2 right now anyway, there might be some that are matching to these other ones. So I want to organize it, as I said. Moving on to plushie bag number 2. We have a shark. I'm selling him for $15. He's only been to, I think, 1 market. Not donating him just yet. I have 2 triceratops. In order to get these to sell, I seem to have at least 5 because I've had these 2 on my table for a while and nobody notices them. But when I have 5 on my table, they sell really well. So at this point, should I donate them? I'm only selling them for 10. And this one, I forgot to put an extra tail on. This is how the pattern looks, but I like it more with a tail, so I just add like 2 or 3 rows at the back. They are easy to make, so honestly, I would have no problem donating these right now. So I think these are going to go for donation. And if you haven't watched my channel, where I would be donating them to is our local police precinct. They give them to the Special Victims Crime Unit, and if a child or somebody needs comfort, they grab one of my plushies for them. And they also have them at the stations for, like, if a little kid has to come in with like a single parent, you know, and they need something to comfort them while they're there if they're intimidated, they keep them at the local stations as well. Next up, we have Noodles the kitten. I am so shocked this hasn't sold, but it's because I only have 1. I have 2 Chomp the caterpillars. I sell these for $15, and I always keep these baby safe. Well, shouldn't say I always keep these baby safe, but I like to keep all these baby safe. And baby safe items I usually like to keep at one section of my table if I'm able to, or on one table. Most of the time I do take 2 tables to a market. In my bag right now, in front of me, I have 1 baby jellyfish. It's one of my favorite patterns. It's so cute. I want to make like 100 of these, so I probably will. I think I only have 1 right now, possibly 2. Out of my bag next is little palm turtles. I sell these for $15. They're hard to hold. So the top one there is made of Bernat blankets. You can see the size difference between Bernat blanket and then Sweet Snuggle Chenille Home. Moving into the plushie bag more so. This was part of the 31 Patterns series. I love this one. It's so cute. It's Tiny the T-Rex by Amigurumi World, I think. I don't know what to price it at. I would say 15 or 20. This is the Mom's to Chetty frog, the mini one. So this one here, but I doubled up the pattern. So I did it twice as big just to see how it would turn out. And this is a Lion Brand cover story yarn I want to try from Walmart. So you can see a good size difference there. I haven't priced this guy because I really don't know what to price him at. Maybe like 15. I have 2 cow snugglers, a black and white and a pink and white. I just think they're adorable. I also have a blue one, but maybe the blue one sold or maybe I donated the blue one. These 2 are adorable. Oh, we have another baby jellyfish, so that's 2. This is the Pipsy the Pig by the Sweet Beans Crochet, Snuggle Beans Crochet, I don't remember, but the Split Series one. I love this pattern, it's so fun. I want to make more. Because it's a big item, I only want to have 1 right now on my table when I go to the market. Here's my blue cow snuggler I was talking about. This is part of the 31 Patterns series. It's so cute, it's like a little sitting puppy dog. I think I'm going to donate this one. This mini kitty I was planning on keeping for myself. I had him up on my shelf for a long time with all my other plushies, but he doesn't bring me as much joy as the other ones do, so I think he can bring somebody else joy. I'm going to put him in my $5 bin. I think this bag is mainly, like this other plushie bag, is mainly the 31 new patterns that I had tried. Because here's an axolotl snuggler. Here's a little squid. Here is the otter snuggler that I made into a mouse because my husband said it looked like a mouse when I had the head done because I didn't have any brown. I was like, yeah, you're right, it does. So I made it into a mouse. So cute. If you want more details on any of these, go see the 31 New Patterns Challenge series. It's a playlist on my channel. This is not a new pattern from that series. These are the tiny teddies that I make all the time, but I was trying to use up the Plum Fields yarn, this yarn that I find incredibly ugly, and I was just trying to use it up. Here we have an adorable little dinosaur. I only have 1 of these. Yeah, I think this is one of the 31 new patterns. I think I'm going to throw him in my $5 basket. I could easily donate him and have no problem, but I think he would sell well, and if I get $5 out of him. This one I'm also going to put in the $5 basket. I know I could charge more, but I'm not going to make any more, and as I said about one-off items, so this is like a little baby dragon. It's from Dr. Choco Crochet, and you're supposed to make a little basket to go with it for like a hanging buddy, but I just made the dragon. Here we have Tito the crocodile. I love this pattern. It's just so cute the way it turns out. This was also in my December series. Here we have a pattern I hated making. I don't know, I just didn't like making it. And the overalls are removable, which is nice. I would prefer him without the overalls. I don't know what I would charge for him. I really don't know because I really don't make anything else with clothes usually. Maybe 25, 30? Well, it looks like we have another fat ass frog and another mini frog. Here we have Gingerbread Bubs. I'm sad that he didn't sell because he's more of like a holiday themed one. So I think I'm going to donate him. I only took him to 2 markets, but I made him later in the year for the 31 New Patterns series. Here we have a purple crocodile. It was a great pattern. I hated making it because of this yarn. This yarn I got from Dollarama, our local dollar store, And I worked with his yarn before and the other colors were fine, but this one was so dense and waxy. And I think I'm gonna donate her. Next up, we're going through this bag. So I have some chickens, not very many, because they sell so well. So I only have 3 and they're all different colors right now, which means I should probably update my website. And then possums, I have one party possum, and I call him party possum because he's the sparkle yarn. The gray is sparkly. And then my regular possums that are non-sparkly. So these ones here are made out of, I think it's true gray or vapor gray. And I have 5 of these guys. So 5 regular and 1 party possum. They're hard to hold. So they're so round and cute, just like me. And it looks like I have no more baby jellyfish. I just have these 2. So going back to the farmer's market this coming year, 2026, it would be like on a weekend, of course, because hopefully I'll find a job soon. And I can work throughout the weekend, like just go to the farmer's market until most of these are sold and then donate whatever's left over after a few times. So that being said, I want to put all my $15-ish items into one little baggie. So what did I have for donation? I have the 2 Stegosaurus dinosaurs. I have the purple crocodile. I have the brown tiny teddy, the gingerbread man, so that's 5. And then the little pink and gray buddy we seen first off. And then the standing puppy. So that's 7. I would like to donate at least 10. So we need 3 more to donate. I'm going to send this girl because I made her eyes in white and I know I could easily redo the eyes. I'm not going to. And I find at the farmer's market, if people are buying baby gifts, they want something that's like pretty and cohesive. I'm going to donate this one, so that gets me up to 8. I don't want to do any more baby safe items because that is requested quite a bit at the market. I'm going to donate one of my scrappy turtles. I'm going to go for this one because it has more color variety on it. Another one I'm going to donate, I just made for the bunny pattern roundup I'm going to do, is this one here. I just don't like the look of it. I don't know, I don't want it on my table. So I'm going to donate this one to get me up to 10 donations. So that's what I have right now in stock.
I had a bunch of yarns waiting to be caked up.
While my work's on yet another bunny, I'll take a snooze on my favorite spot.
It's now Wednesday, and I know we usually end things on Tuesdays, but yesterday just got away from me. It was a busy week, as you've seen. Last week, and I think the week before, I forgot to end off with things that made me happy, and I just forgot. So while I'm thinking about it, I'm gonna give you 3 things that made me happy. First one being the swatches that I'm working on right now. It's a really nice yarn. That's the one I said is very similar to Sweet Snuggles Light. It's a beautiful yarn, and I don't know when it'll be released, but it's really nice to work with. Even knitting. I have done a little bit of crochet with it just to test it out with, like, you know, some scraps I've had left over, and gorgeous. Another thing that made me happy this week, I actually had, I think 2 or 3 job interviews. I don't remember in all honesty because it's just been a whirlwind, and hopefully I will get an offer, maybe 2, maybe 3. There is one that I really want, so fingers crossed for that one, but you'll have to find out next week, I guess, because I haven't got a call yet, but they were going to let me know at some point today. Third thing that made me happy is using up basically all of that big chunky yarn I've been getting for free from my former workplace and from my aunt. Currently, I have only a few left. I have 1 ball of gray that I got from my aunt. I have 1 black that I got from Main States Walmart that I just didn't end up adding to the black and teal blanket that I just finished. I have a whole lot left of Blue Lagoon that, you know, it was like this like mustard greenish color with the white and the teal. I have almost full skein of that. I would say I've probably used maybe like 50 grams out of the 600 that are in there, but there's not anything I can pair it with right now. I also have a skein of gray that I had ordered from Temu. They've already refunded me for it. It was supposed to come in an 8-pack and only one of them showed up. They sent me a refund. They said, we apologize about like the inaccurate listing. And then they also sent me an extra $2. And then I have almost a full skein of purple smoke. And let me show that to you because you haven't seen it yet. I had to do a swatch out of it earlier this week. I picked them up on Friday, so I had gotten this color, purple smoke, to work with, and also a big skein of black. So that was awesome because that really helped with that teal blanket, the teal and black blanket. And purple smoke is a nice color. It's very muted. It is showing up pretty accurately on screen. It's very purple, gray, and that's it really. Those are 3 things that made me happy this week. Maybe getting a job offer would make me even happier. Fingers crossed. I'm actually going to spend the afternoon catching up on Larry's mood blanket, and obviously that won't take long. So I gotta get that done and, you know, just a few other household things. and keep an eye on my cell phone because maybe somebody will call with a job offer. You may have seen this trend going around social media, and I know a lot of people don't like it because it's AI art, and I understand that completely. I love supporting local artists, but I couldn't resist when, people are doing this trend. I thought that's gonna be really cute. So I asked for a caricature of myself and everything that ChatGPT knew about me. So mainly crochet, I love yarn, and he knows all about Larry the puppy dog. So it came out with this caricature for me. And I think it's so cute. Like everything on it was like to a T. I did have to ask her /him/it to redo it at one point just because at first they put me in denim pants, like jeans, and I hate jeans. It's one of my sensory issue things. So they redid it for me and I thought it turned out so perfectly. And it captures Larry's happy essence so well. In the meantime, please remember that you are strong, you are beautiful, you are loved, and the world appreciates having you here. I will see you in next week's video.